If you measure the inside of the coaxial cable, you see how it's about 33, 34 thou, somewhere in there. Standard picture hanging wire just happens to be right about the same. So what this means is that you can use an old gnarly coil of picture hanging wire as an antenna. Fits in there quite nicely. What it will give you is close line of sight TV stations. I live in London, Ontario. It's the armpit of the universe for getting over-the-air TV channels. But we do have one that for local news, CFPL. It's about 5 or 6 miles away from where I live, and I've been receiving it with this for the last 10 years. When I set out to purchase an indoor TV antenna, I had it in my head that I did not want an unsightly flat panel hanging in my living room window with wires dangling from it. This caused me to focus on the tabletop surface-mounted models, thinking that I could easily hide it and the wires behind my TV set. This is what I ended up with. Nothing unsightly about that. What has rekindled my interest in a new indoor TV antenna is my recent move from London East, north of Hamilton Road, to London Southeast, south of Commissioners Road. A rise in elevation of somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 meters or around 65 feet. This change in elevation can be seen by simply driving from Dundas Street South on Highbury Avenue to Commissioners. As both our old home and our new home are condos, an outdoor antenna is not allowed. You would think by looking at this map that London, Ontario would be an ideal location for over-the-air TV reception, especially considering the claims made by indoor TV antenna sellers, which we'll talk about a bit more in depth later on in this video. The reality, however, is that London, Ontario is just out of range of all of the major TV broadcasting centers. Depending on topography, the curvature of the Earth begins defeating indoor TV antennas at around 60 miles distance from the broadcast tower, with 80 miles distance the extreme limit for most indoor antennas. These are simply guidelines. All locations are different, but by looking at the distances from London to the major broadcast centers, you see the problem with indoor TV antenna reception. If you are considering a TV antenna of any type, I would suggest checking out this YouTube channel. The first order of business for anyone who is considering cutting the cable for over-the-air TV reception is to get your expectations in line with reality. It is imperative that you do two things prior to making your indoor TV antenna purchase. First, ignore the grandiose claims made by TV antenna sellers because many of those claims border on fraud. And secondly, research your area. Here we are looking at a list of channels I can possibly receive in my area, but it makes no distinction between indoor and outdoor antennas. Here's a map of the broadcast towers within range of my location. The limitations of my location are primarily the very limited area where I can place my new antenna and my unwillingness to drill holes in my walls to mount the antenna or run cables to a better antenna placement area. A few extra TV channels will be nice, but overall it is not that important to me. There are 6 broadcast towers I can possibly receive signals from, but I'll be happy and consider my $30 purchase worthwhile if I receive the global and city TV networks to go along with the CTV channel I already receive. For better or worse, this is the unit I decided to purchase. I had no illusions about its exaggerated range, and as I mentioned, I had notions of hiding it behind my TV. 2 of the channels I was hoping to receive were on the VHF frequency, which is channels 2 to 13, so choosing an antenna with a VHF element, that's this extendable single rabbit ear, was important to me. Unfortunately, it only received the same one channel I was receiving with my trusty piece of wire when set up behind the TV. I was forced to elevate it up near the top of the living room window, and because I was not willing to drill into my wall, I drilled into the antenna instead to add an eyelet to hang it with. So this is what comes in the box. You have your unit here. It has a base on it that's removable. Can also be stuck in the back. You can mount it like that on your wall. You notice I drilled a hole in the top and put an eyelet in it so I could hang it, so I voided the warranty, but I don't care. I came very close to punting this over the back fence. It's really just a cheap piece of plastic. It does have an on-off switch though, which is kind of neat. Now to power it up, you're plugging it into either a phone charger or the back of your TV. And you see the coaxial cable with the 21 gauge wire in the middle. It does have a built-in signal booster. It's not adjustable, so there's not much you can do about it. Of course, they included some chintzy screws that you couldn't hang anything with. Now, this is a membership card to their website. I'm not going to bother with that. And, of course, a manual, which is in English and fairly well written. An adapter, a piece of, this is a two-way tape, actually. It's two-way, so you can stick that up and have it fall off sometime in the future. It comes in a nice little box, but it has all the lies on the side of it. This antenna was important because I'm after two VHF channels, channel 6 and channel 10. So that's what you get for 30 bucks. The first thing I did when I set up my TV in my new location was to search for over-the-air TV channels using my trusty piece of picture hanging wire as an antenna. It only received the same one channel it did at the other location, channel 10 CFPL London, which is part of the CTV network. So that is what my $30 investment is being compared against, an old piece of wire. Including channel 10, there are 7 over-the-air TV channels that I can potentially receive with an indoor TV antenna, but 3 of those are multicultural channels that seldom broadcast in English. My hope is that I will receive channel 6, which is part of the global TV network, and channel 31, which is City TV. All 3 of these channels, including channel 10, link up to the major US networks for some of their programming. For the sake of my grandchildren when they visit, I hope to also pick up channel 18, TVO, which has children's programming during the day. Now the moment of truth. What are the 6 channels I am now receiving? Yes, there's channel 6 Global and channel 10 CTV again. Here's a bonus, channel 18 TVO for my grandchildren, channel 20, which is one of the multicultural channels, and yes, channel 31 City TV, and finally channel 69, another multicultural channel. I consider this a lesson learned and concede my part in limiting the performance of this unit, but I'm also somewhat grateful that I was not taken in further by the blatantly false advertising common in the indoor antenna industry. Here's an example. Can you spot what is wrong with this online listing? First off, 4K and HD quality are determined by the originating signal and your TV's capability to display these types of signals. It has nothing to do with the antenna. Next, we see a cable-only channel that is not available over the air. Then, of course, there's almost always the exaggerated claims made about the range. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm happy with my indoor TV antenna purchase, primarily because it did what I was hoping for and it only cost me 30 bucks. The question I ask in the title of this video, are these antennas worth buying, is a question you will need to answer for yourself. Is it worth it to you? All I can offer as advice is to do your homework. Research what over-the-air channels are available in your area, align your expectations with reality, and try to sort through the grandiose claims that are prevalent in the indoor TV antenna advertising. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing, and as always, I hope to see you next time.
When the stars won't shine for you, and your dreams turn black and blue, on those dark nights you'll be alright, I'll be right there with you. Together we'll see it through. When the stars won't shine for you, and your dreams turn black and blue, on those dark nights you'll be alright, I'll be right there with you. Together we'll see it through.